so today we're going to be making caramel apples, but we're doing a little bit different than what you're used to. We're going to be actually making maple caramel apples, and we're going to be dipping them in my homemade granola, which is made with extra virgin olive oil. My caramel apples are made partially with extra virgin olive oil. If you know me, you know I do everything with olive oil. Olive oil is a lot healthier. I think it tastes fantastic, but the one thing, I've tried to make caramel apples without olive oil, and it just was not going to work. It absolutely needs milk fat. So let me show you what we're going to need to make these caramel apples today. You're going to need about 2½ cups of light brown sugar. If you want a darker caramel apple, use dark brown sugar. It doesn't matter. Pinch of salt and a 1/3 cup of olive oil, and I use extra virgin olive oil. And you need to have a special type of extra virgin, so you might want to just start with pure olive oil, or just if you know your olive oil, then you want a mild olive oil. I use one that's a blend of a Koroniki olive, just a little bit of a Koroniki olive, an Abrazzana olive, and an Araucana olive. And I'll explain olive oils down the road because I'm just getting started right now on this video thing. I just decided the writing thing wasn't for me. I'd rather be in the kitchen cooking, so I'm going to be showing you different things. And this is half of a cup, oh no, actually it's about a cup of maple syrup. So we need a full cup of maple syrup. And we've got vanilla extract. Anytime you have a recipe that calls for a teaspoon, use a tablespoon. So I use about a tablespoon. And sweetened condensed milk. So we're going to get started. I've already started with the ½ cup of butter. So normally when you do this recipe, you use a cup of butter, but I can put a little bit of olive oil in there. So I'm using a half a cup of butter, and then a 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And also, I like to use a spaghetti spoon. So I like to use just a spaghetti spoon to make sure that anytime I put the brown sugar in, that it breaks up the clumps. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better, and then I'm going to move it in. So, sure hope I can edit this. Okay, so I will be right over here. All right, so hope you can see me. I don't know if you can, but we're using the spoon. I've already got the butter partially melted and the olive oil. I put the olive oil in there. And then I'm going to put the brown sugar. And this is really easy. It takes about 20 minutes. Also helpful if you have a candy thermometer, but mine keeps breaking, so I'm going to show you how to do it by testing it in water. But it takes about 20 minutes to get the caramel made, or caramel, whichever you want to call it. So we're going to go ahead and put the brown sugar in, and we're going to get that nice and melty in the butter and the olive oil. And then you want to have your 1 cup, and I realized I only measured ½ a cup, but I just use pure maple syrup. If you want, you can use pure maple syrup, or you can use, see, is that a full cup? You can use pure maple syrup, which I like to use, or you can just use the, the stuff with the high fructose corn syrup. I try to make things just a little bit healthier. Make sure that your spoon that you're using is either wooden or it's a really high-tempered plastic. I'm not sure what they call it, but anyway, you want to make sure you do that because otherwise it will melt, because this is going to get really, really hot. It goes up to almost 250 degrees. It's like 243 degrees. So what we're going to do, and I'll show you this as soon as I get it broken up a little bit, pinch of salt, just a pinch. And I don't put my thermometer in just yet. I wait until it gets a little bit melted, but you want to make sure, you'll notice when you're cooking this that the olive oil and the butter is still separated from the sugar and the maple syrup, so it's still pretty separate. These are really good, especially when they're dipped in granola, because you can do just a little bit of different. It's something different that most people don't have, and they're always surprised to learn that something that's really sweet tastes good with olive oil. I actually had some olive oil ice cream at a retreat last week for the California Olive Ranch when I got to watch the harvest, and it is fantastic. I was really surprised, and I cook and bake with olive oil with everything that I do, and I was really, really surprised when I got to try this olive oil ice cream. Chef Maggie made it, and it was so good. I mean, I was very surprised, and she even drizzled a little bit of the olive oil on it, and I just loved it. So when it starts going, you're going to see that it's just going to look, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's just going to look very, very, almost just watery. So that's how we're going to start it. And I am going to shut the video off because I don't know how to edit this. So, and it takes about 20 minutes. So as it starts getting ready, and I'll show you what it looks like, I'll turn the video back on and we'll probably have part 2. or I'll have to have my son edit this. I don't know if I can edit out pieces of it or what. So anyway, probably not going to edit these videos. They won't really be professional, but you get to learn how to make some really cool stuff. So we're going to do caramel apples. Another time I'll show you how to make my homemade granola. And it'll be really, really fun because it's something you can have that's a little bit healthier, but actually tastes good. Kids like it with ice cream and all kinds of other stuff. So really quick before I stop this video, just want to let you know when you're doing this caramel, really, really important that you don't stop stirring it. You're always stirring it, and it takes about 20 minutes to bring it to about 243 degrees, and you don't want it any hotter than that. It's called a firm ball stage, and I'll actually show you, in case you don't have a candy thermometer, I'm actually going to show you how to put it to I can't speak today, a firm ball stage, so that if you cook it too long, it's going to be really hard and it's hard to bite into. And so it's actually better if you cook it for about 20 minutes and you can keep testing it in the water. So I'm going to show you how we do that too. And I'll just come back and we'll start another video, and this will be part 1, and then come back for part 2 when we actually finish the apples, and I'll show you how to do it. And so we're going to turn this into something really, really beautiful and delicious. Okay, so now we're at the firm ball stage, and you know what? I decided that the last few times I've tried to use my candy thermometer, it has not been good to me. So I'm just going to show you how we do this just by testing it in water. It's about 15 to 20 minutes. While I had the video off, I put in a can of cream and condensed milk, and you got to use a spatula to get that out. It's thick like molasses, and vanilla. So just in order for you to see what it looks like when it's at that softball stage, you can just see it. It's really bubbly, and it's just a lot thicker. It starts to look like it's growing in the pan. And you just take your spatula, your spoon, your large spoon, and you just put a little bit in the water. Okay, and I've already turned this off. I cooked it over a medium flame, so you don't want to get it too hot. And by the way, the condensed milk goes in, and when you feel it, I'm going to pull it out, when you feel it, the softball stage, it kind of still falls. I can show you a little bit. It just kind of, it's almost like caramel, like you would eat, you know, just a little bit looser than that, just a little bit softer. And so it's actually perfect right there. So my thermometer lies, because last time I trusted my thermometer, it was a big problem because I had hard caramel apples. So you can't have hard caramel apples. You know that they're hard when people aren't willing to bite into them. So now what I have here in this pan is I put my homemade granola, and I've just put some largest bamboo skewers that I could find, just stuck them right through the apple. I used to use sticks, but they seem a lot more flimsy now, and these seem to be a lot more reliable. So I'm going to take my spoon out, and all of this you have to kind of soak it when it's all done, because it does harden up and sticks to everything. So we're going to take an apple. This is so simple. You can dip it in whatever you want, but I just think they're great dipped in granola. And we're going to take it and swirl it around, and I let, you know, it drips off quite a bit, so I let some of it come off, and then I just stick it right into the pan of granola. You can use the rest of the granola for breakfast or whatever, because it just gathers around the granola, and it just makes a nice crunchy bottom for these apples. And so we just put it in, turn it that way, and this will make about 10 to 12 medium-sized apples. And sometimes I just scrape the caramel off on the pan, because plenty of it soaks down to the bottom, so you never really have to worry that it's not coated well. You wait about a minute or two after you shut the flame off, because then it's a little bit, it's very hot, so it's not as thick as you want it. So wait a couple minutes after you shut the flame off and then coat it. Turn that. And yeah, it's kind of fun. I've done Rocky Road or coconut on the bottom, or I've actually got some of my ginger roos that I let get hard, and then I ground them up, and you can use those so they kind of have a ginger coating on the bottom. Anything you want to put, you know. So I've dipped them in sugar and just the cane sugar. It's really, really good. And then the thing is, people will not even know that this is partially made with olive oil, and that's really fun. I try to implement olive oil in everything I do, and especially desserts. I wound up writing a book about desserts made with olive oil, because I couldn't find desserts made with olive oil. It's about 8 years ago. And I really wanted to do that, because I have kind of cholesterol issues. Not kind of. I do have cholesterol issues. It's hereditary. And butter and shortening and all kinds of stuff. That just makes your cholesterol shoot through the roof. But olive oil is actually proven by the FDA, extra virgin olive oil, if you implement that into your diet to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. It's actually an official statement they made based upon a study, and that was in 2004. And of course, we're just starting to get to know olive oil in this country, and there's lots to learn about olive oil, which I hope to be able to teach you in the near future. But here is our caramel apples, and they're very simple and partially made with olive oil. I don't want to pick them up just yet, but I can give you an idea of what they look like on the bottom. And they'll sit for about, before they're ready to eat, I'd say give them about 20 minutes. And I like to just kind of tap them around the granola so they get a nice granola. And you can, if you want, you can even kind of roll them so they have a little bit more crunchy around the sides. Just makes it prettier. Some people like to take a melted vanilla or chocolate and swirl it around. I just like it really simple. Don't let them touch each other because they'll become Siamese twin apples. But this is what it looks like when you're all done. And that is our caramel apple. So I hope you enjoyed making these, and just check back because I'm going to be trying to do this more and more, and probably not every day, but I'm going to try for it. So next time I'm going to be showing you how to make a really fun leek and potato soup that's really creamy and delicious with some bacon. So I hope you had fun. I had fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye.